What happens when a ballet student turns into punk rock's most dangerous woman? Wendy O. Williams didn't just break the rules. She made a career out of demolishing them, often literally. Wendy O. Williams was more than just a punk icon. She was a storm in human form. Known for fronting the explosive band The Plasmatics, Wendy carved out her legacy with raw energy, unapologetic performances, and a refusal to conform to society's expectations. Join us on this episode of Crossed Over as we explore the life and death of Wendy Williams. Born May 28, 1949, in Webster, New York, Wendy showed signs of artistic talent early on. By 6, she was already performing on television and studying music. Her childhood seemed typical, but behind the scenes she battled strict parenting and a desire for freedom. At 16, she left home, hitchhiking across the U.S., taking odd jobs and living on her own terms. Her travels led her to Europe before landing in New York City in the mid-70s. It was there she crossed paths with Rod Swenson, an avant-garde artist and director, who would not only become her partner, but also the visionary behind the Plasmatics. Together, they would ignite a movement that combined punk rock with theatrical shock and anarchist undertones. The Plasmatics debuted in 1978 at the legendary CBGB's Club, instantly becoming a wild sensation. Wendy, often performing topless or in outrageous outfits, delivered ferocious vocals while chaos erupted around her. Cars blown up on stage, guitars shredded with chainsaws, and amps destroyed mid-set. Her fearlessness wasn't an act, it was a philosophy. Their single Butcher Baby shook the UK punk scene when Stiff Records released it, while performances in London were banned for being too extreme. Wendy never shied away from controversy. In Milwaukee, she was arrested during a show. Meanwhile, male artists with similar antics faced no such consequences, revealing the double standards of the time. Outside of her music career, Wendy continued to evolve. She recorded a solo album in 1984, produced by Kiss's Gene Simmons, and even earned a Grammy nomination for Best Female Rock Vocalist in 1985. Her collaborations featured Paul Stanley, Eric Carr, and Ace Frehley, fusing punk with heavy metal and glam. She even stepped into acting, stealing scenes in the cult classic Reform School Girls and guest starring in MacGyver. But by the early 1990s, Wendy had walked away from the music industry altogether. She settled in Connecticut with Swenson and turned her attention to animal rescue and holistic living. Despite her outward toughness, Wendy struggled internally. Fame had brought attention, but it hadn't brought peace. On April 6, 1998, she took her own life at the age of 48 in a secluded wooded area near her home, one of her favorite places to feed squirrels and connect with nature. In her final moments, she left notes for Swenson and scattered nutshells nearby, small tokens that spoke of the gentleness behind her ferocity. Her death was the tragic end of a woman who gave everything to her art, but whose inner battles never fully healed. Today, Wendy O. Williams is remembered not just as the queen of shock rock, but as a pioneer who challenged norms, fought censorship, and inspired generations of musicians to own their identity without compromise. Whether on stage or off, Wendy lived and died on her own terms, and that's a legacy louder than any explosion. What will you remember most about Wendy? Let us know.